Sakwe, we will grab Pinky. Bukari Kubi. Money. Paulo.
Paulo de plaisir. Eraka.
King Solomon. abanene ba direko unduti yaba bori foso tata chief sakwe Cyril Asu mamboka likumi tata ilangwe Peter Nanje monene wa direko masoma sama sakwe George Dr. Thompson Mambe masoma nenye batata iya sakani na Reverend Dr. Sami Sale Sango Mudi Sibanos Ose Masoma iya
Obase ya Lorito Obase ya Lorito Obase ya Lorito Obase ya Lorito Inyerize bengwana wasuwe Inyerize mwana wasuwe Ori arasa kwe siri Ama mwasele mori wasuwe
Oje Bario Tata Chief Cyril Sakwe Bane mbimo hii okay Ndiga mavinge Kono
Okakele Keke bapete bakasa ni biyongo Okakele Keke bapete bakasa ni biyongo Okakele Ima keke bapete bakasa ni biyongo Okakele Bapete bakasa ni biyongo Okakele Ima keke bapete bakasa ni biyongo Okakele Keke bapete bakasa ni biyongo Okakele Okakele
gentlemen, and welcome to ABC Amber Television Live, coming to you as usual from the great state of Texas, precisely here in Houston, Texas. It's always a privilege to come to you with Ambazonia Restoration Struggle, Ambazonia Restoration Struggle News. Thank you for tuning in, especially those of you tuning in from Ground Zero. Thank you for glowing onto ABC this evening. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'd like to welcome all of you Ambazonian refugees on Ground One, wherever that you may find yourself, in Africa, in Europe, in the UK, in Asia, in China, in the continental USA, everywhere you happen to be. Welcome once more to ABC Amber Television Live. And of course, I am your anchor man, and I'm very excited to come to you today with very interesting developments coming from the Ambazonian struggle and of course from around the world. We're talking about what is going on out there in Afghanistan, the Taliban taking over in Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan, taking over the whole country essentially. We're going to be talking about that with my panel and of course so many other things to talk about. As usual, for those of you joining by way of Facebook, let us hit the 700 figure in the next 5 minutes. I think it's easy to do that. We're almost 400 already, as I can see here. So please, if you are here on the platform, go ahead and hit your share button. Let us hit that 700 as soon as possible. So much to take home tonight, and I want to see that we have this platform saturated. Let's saturate the platform, everybody. And while you are doing so, I like to do some housekeeping before I come to you with the presentation proper for today. So please, again, go ahead, hit your share button for those of you who are joining by way of Facebook. I see the numbers are jumping. The next 4 minutes, we need 700 people on the Facebook platform. I know YouTube is also running, so that is great. Please go ahead and quickly populate the platform. I got so much to bring to you tonight, and I really won't want anyone who should be here, who want to be here, to miss it. So please hit that share button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that share button. I will be coming to you with my panel in about in the next few minutes, but I just want to remind you, fellow Ambazonians, of Indian draft that is coming up not on Saturday. Indian draft is coming up not on Saturday as originally scheduled. Indian draft is coming up on Sunday, not on Saturday. And this time we are drafting for one of our best out there, and I am here referring to General One Kobo out there in the Indian County. This Sunday is Indian again. It is not Saturday. I understand the date has been changed to Sunday. And so this Sunday, all of Ambazonia, let us demonstrate to the people of Indian County, our restoration fighters in Indian County, talking about the boys under the leadership of General One Kobo. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to all go out on Sunday to support their initiatives out there in India. Now remember, General One Kobo they are still keeping those 5 La République du Cameroon trespassers delegates. I mean, it is a feat that they have achieved to keep those people up to today. I see La Republicans mourning out there and wondering why their country is not doing anything and asking where are the security forces. Listen to Franklin Njume or Njume, they call him, lamenting, where are the security forces? All the black legs out there in La République du Cameroon lamenting, where is the state? Where are the security forces? Why is it that up to today our delegates are not free? Let me ask all of you a question out there. Why is it that up to today Sisiko Ayoktabe, Tasang Wilfred, and all Nfongalamfon, all the rest in there, plus all our detainees, why are they not released? Why are they in any detention? You are just fooling yourself by thinking that we should rush to release a couple of delegates who were trespassing on our territory. We will hold them, and going forward, that is what will be happening. Any French Cameroon colonial official caught in Ambazonia will be held in detention until there is formal negotiation that brings an end to this conflict. That is what it's going to be. And the Ambazonia restoration forces in all of Ambazonia are duly instructed. You pick them up, you hold them until this conflict comes to a settlement. When they release our prisoners, we release their own when this conflict is finally settled. That is what will happen going forward. So if you are out there lamenting and asking for where the state is, there is no state in Ambazonia. The only state in Ambazonia is Ambazonians. All right? So, please, ladies and gentlemen, it is the turn of General FM 1 Kobo. Let's all show him love. Let's all appreciate him by trooping out to Indian County on Sunday War Drive, to support this, our brilliant, brave General FM out there on Sunday. So I hope we all get that. I am believing that within the week, maybe Thursday or Friday, I will be back here with a special edition to talk about this draft coming up in Indian before the week runs out. So I may do that on Thursday or on Friday. If I don't do that, somebody else will definitely do so. So please go ahead, hit your share button. Now, having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I like to remind every one of you, especially in Mezam. If you are in Mezam, please, the lockdown in Bali. The lockdown in Bali stands. The lockdown in Bali stands. Nothing is changing. Nothing is changing. The lockdown in Bali is continuing for as long as the colonial officials in that local government stops Okada riders from doing business. Again, the lockdown in Bali is going on for as long as the colonial officials in that city send their occupying soldiers to stop our Okada riders from doing business in that community. No vehicle with more than 2 wheels, nothing that moves with more than 2 wheels will be allowed to move in Bali. Now, I understand, I listened to an audio out there coming from, allegedly from Mezam. I am not aware of that decision taken by Mezam to shut down all of Mezam. I am not aware of it. If people at the county have to take decisions and announce them, and they cannot contact us, I cannot come and sit here and enforce them. So, if Mezam have taken a decision, that is their business. That is their business. I am not going to sit here and enforce it. What we know is that Bali is shut down from any movement of vehicles. Any movement of vehicles. If Mezam has enforced that across the county, it is their duty to bring that information here to the interim government. I think it is not right that a county take a decision that affects over 1 million of people and they cannot bring it to the central government to discuss it. So if Mezam has announced a county-wide shutdown, we are not aware of it here at the interim government. At least I would say I am not aware of it, and I think if they have taken that decision, they should bring it to the central government and let's look at it and then we announce it. But for now, Bali is what we know we are enforcing from this interim government. The full force of the interim government is behind what Bali Law LGA, Bali AROF are doing in that community. So we're encouraging every one of you out there in Bali LGA, please, we know how tough this can be. When you cannot have supplies coming in from Bamenda, you cannot have supplies coming in from Batebo, from Mamfe, and all those other surrounding towns and cities. It makes life quite difficult and quite frustrating. We know that. But listen, this is a war. Ours is a war. And in war, there are lots and lots of sacrifices that have to be paid. These are just some of them. These are just some of them. And so we fully endorse and stand behind the work of the Bali Restoration Forces led by Grandpa. Grandpa, your flag is up. Really, really high up there. So please, the ban in Bali of any vehicle movement stays, and it is fully backed, supported by the interim government. It is tough, it is hard, it is difficult, but listen, there is always, they say there is always, if there are no trials, no trial, no triumph. No trial, no triumph. We are looking for victory at the end of this, and there have to be these trials, these difficult moments before we see the victory come our way. And so we are encouraging and appealing to the people of Bali LGA. Please, this is no punishment for you, not at all. We are punishing La République du Cameroon. In fact, they are beginning to wonder what they have to do to get those roads open around Bali and Bamenda and the Memphis stretch of the road. They are wondering because they are losing millions by the day. They are losing millions by the day. And I think if need be, we have to shut down Kumba Mamfe, Ekok Mamfe, and Kumba Buea Road. One of these days, if need be, we will do that. We are in charge of Ambazonia. We control Ambazonia. We must seek to control every inch of our territory. We are not moving or asking for an inch in their territory. We are only doing this on our territory to tell them, we have an answer to that question. We want to know who owns the land. Ambazonia owns the land. La République can answer that question for themselves. For us, we know who owns the land. So please, the lockdown in Bali stands. And again, if Mezam has taken a decision to shut down the whole county, this interim government is not aware. I will not announce it here. I will not say anything about it here. The county would have to bring it to the interim government for, I think, some discussion before we go ahead to announce it, stand behind it, and enforce it. So, but for now, Bali is the deal. Bali is the deal. And please, if you live in Bali, just be a little patient. It gets worse before it gets better. Again, it gets worse before it gets better, ladies and gentlemen. That is what it is. Let me take you to Nigeria with our refugees, ladies and gentlemen, in Nigeria. So much has been going on. So much going on in Nigeria with our refugees. It's not been easy. They are persecuted from left to right. Again, they are persecuted from left to right. I'm referring to the refugees that you find on your screen here. Ambazonian refugees that you find on your screen here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, they are persecuted left and right by the Nigerian government. And we are being told that La République du Cameroon is making every effort, conniving with the Nigerian local authorities in the communities where these refugees live, to see that they are forcefully returned to their homes in Ambazonia. We are also told they are struggling, these refugees, they are struggling to feed on a daily basis. Now, this is a message from this interim government. The message is this, that every Ambazonian refugee should know that wherever you are, whether you are registered with UNHCR or not, you are internationally protected by international conventions. Again, whether you are registered by the UNHCR or wherever you are, for as long as you are running away from death, from a certain death from your country, you are under the protection of the United Nations conventions. I'm saying this to say that nobody can force you out of your own will to leave Nigeria or anywhere you settle as a refugee. Nobody can force you to leave. It will be a crime, an international crime. So, for as long as you abide, you live a lawful life in the country in which you are residing, please take note, again, nobody should force you out of that country. Now, you have the right to go to court if anybody, or to seek a lawyer if anybody wants to force you out of your abode. The interim government has already, as I speak, hired some lawyers in Nigeria to look into the situation of our refugees in that country. And so if you have any issues with immigration, with officials in Nigeria, talk to the refugee leaders there in Nigeria, and they will tell you exactly what to do. You don't have to call here. You don't have to call me. You don't have to call the president. You don't have to call anybody here. You just have to report to your refugee leaders. Your refugee leaders will know exactly who to contact for that issue. So this is very important that you know this. Now, this is the appeal that the President, Dr. Sako, has made to every conscientious Ambazonian out there. Last week, we learned of Ambazonian refugees falling, ladies and gentlemen, and dying in Nigeria out of hunger. The appeal from the President is to you, every Ambazonian out there. Please, make a generous donation to assist our refugees have food on their tables on a daily basis. We have a very active Department of Health and Social Services that has done a lot of outreach to the refugees in Nigeria. And they continue to do so. But they need your money. They need your money, ladies and gentlemen, to do so. I wish I had that payment information. Please, people here at the Department of Communications at ABC, please pin that payment information. Pin that payment information right now on the screen, on Facebook here. If you're watching by way of Facebook, please, people here at the Department of Communications at ABC, pin the Health and Social Services payment information for refugees. I think that the Zelle is the email is Hope Relief Foundation. Hope Relief Foundation, ladies and gentlemen, at gmail.com. Hope Relief Foundation at gmail.com. I think it is the same email for Cash App. It is Hope Relief Foundation at gmail.com. Please, I want to see at least 100 people. By the time this show is over, we would have had over 1,000 people watching live. If 200 people can just call to make a $10 donation, can call or make a payment, a $50 payment donation, please, that will go a long way to help our refugees in Nigeria. Again, I really hope somebody here at ABC is listening to me with that payment information. Let it be mounted on the screen. In the course of the program, we'll make sure that you also have it here on the screen. But please, at the end of this program, I want to see you making that payment to support our refugees out there in Nigeria who are really struggling. This really concerns me because, again, I lived the life of a refugee in Nigeria for 5 good years. 5 good years. If you know what it means to be a refugee in the country, you have no family. In the country, you have no job, and you need a home, and you need food, and you have a family like those who are there now. It is tough, really tough. And please, if you have a conscience, please support our refugees. Again, I hope that, okay, the payment information is right there on Facebook right now. Hope Relief Foundation at gmail.com. That information is both for Cash App and Zelle. Both for Cash App and Zelle. Please, I'm pleading with you, help our people. Let them not die of hunger. Let them die of torture, of attacks from La Republic to Cameroon. Not of hunger when we can easily, when $10, when $20, when $100 can put food on their table for a few days. I'm pleading with you again today. Please do so. And God bless you as you do so. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this moment, I will bring to you my monologue for the day. Now, you all have seen the poster that I put out there talking about UB Ikonolinga, and you all probably read the covenant from the University of Buea announcing a meeting to discuss a certain University of Buea Ikonolinga annex. Ladies and gentlemen, if you thought that in the midst of this war, if you thought La République du Cameroon is giving up on Ambazonia anytime soon, no, it is not happening. It is not happening anytime soon. If they can still be dreaming after 5 years of war, that they will keep on draining our institutions and resources over to their territory, that should be an indication to every one of you. We must fight this war until Ambazonia is completely free. What is happening at the University of Buea, so-called extending it to La République du Cameroon, is exactly the reason why we are at war with French Cameroon. Ladies and gentlemen, anyways, I will bring you my monologue, and after I bring you the monologue, I will bring in my panel for the day. We will discuss this, and we will discuss other issues in the news. What does it mean? Do we have any lessons to learn from what is going on in Afghanistan with the Taliban taking over? We will talk about that. But for now, fellow Ambazonians, on August 12, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Buea, one Ngomo Horace Manga issued a statement inviting members of the University Senate for an important meeting that will take place on Friday, August 20th. That is next Friday, tomorrow Friday. According to the statement, the most important agenda of the meeting will be to discuss, and I quote, creation of the University of Buea campus annex in Akonolinga, end of quote. A follow-up statement unsigned by anyone from the University of Buea threw a little bit of light on how the idea of UB Annex Akonolinga came about. It states that a 15-man delegation from Akonolinga, led by the council's mayor, paid a visit to the University of Buea on April the 23rd this year. The delegation, they said, expressed a desire to see the University of Buea become, and I quote again, a veritable partner in the development of Akonolinga community, end of quote. Now, let me quote extensively from that document. In the boardroom of the Central Administrative Building, the mayor of Akonolinga told UB authorities that the people of Akonolinga are requesting the University of Buea to consider going beyond its campus with its teaching and research activities. UB's research output can harness Akonolinga community, and that the people of Akonolinga are confident that UB has the capacity to transform the natural resources of Akonolinga to create wealth for the community. They said, especially in the area of agriculture. Alarm bells have since been ringing within Amazonian territory once the two statements were made public. And rightly so too. Many see and fear a repeat of history here. History that isn't so good in our ears. History checkered with fraud. History that is full with aggravations. The history of rape. The rape of the essence of the southern Cameroons, Amazonia. Cast Bambili, the Cameroon Band, Ombe, Powakam, Wada, our airports and seaports should serve as reminders here, ladies and gentlemen. There is something that just doesn't smell right in this University of Buea Annex in Akonolinga. I smell a rat in the whole thing, and I will explain it to you. And make no mistake, the idea of a UB Annex isn't the problem here, ladies and gentlemen. All over the world, renowned universities have been known to create annex and affiliate campuses wherever and whenever they choose. It just depends. It just depends on what they hope to achieve. So, the problem here is not the idea of UB Annex. The problem, and I wish you really pay attention to it, is where the annex, the very first one in that matter, is going to. It is not coming to Amazonia. Akonolinga isn't in Meme, in Indian, in Libielem, in Manyo, or Kupe Manuguba. Akonolinga is in Betiland, in the central region of La République du Cameroon. So, the question that begs for an answer is, why not just create the University of Akonolinga? Why a UB Annex when it will take no effort just a decree, for that matter, to create such a university. This is the problem. The fact is that there is an agenda here that no one sees yet. And I will explain to you exactly what that agenda is. Throughout our history with French Cameroon, fellow Amazonians, when they set out to destroy any of our institutions, they first of all got it transferred, moved to their part of the country. Once it is there, it's only a matter of time for it to crumble and bow out of existence. We have previously reported here the examples of Nanga Company Limited, Neighbor Automobile Limited, which was located in Mutengene, the Marketing Board, the West Cameroon Bank, the Cameroon Industrial Forest, CIF, with sawmills in Etam, Kumba, and Moyoka. They were lured to move to La République du Cameroon. But they went under in less than no time the moment they relocated. What we hear and smell in this University of Buea Annex Akonolinga is the beginning of the death of UB as we know it. It is the beginning of the desecration that will ultimately reduce the University of Buea to a name on paper. Amazonians, please listen to the sound of my appeal here. What is about to happen is exactly a replay of what happened in Kasbambali all over again. We recall that in 1962, right after our independence, on October 1st, 1961, Ahijo visited the United States, and President John F. Kennedy awarded funding for the construction of the first ever Anglo-Saxon university to be built in West Cameroon. That university was supposed to be Kasbambali, but Ahijo deceived Foncha. In the place of a university, he built a high school in Bambili and used the rest of the funds to build Yaoundé University, what is known today as Yaoundé University 1. How about the seaport project in Victoria? Once they saw the prospects for a better seaport in Victoria, they developed Kribi and told us that after Kribi, Victoria was going to be next. Victoria was never qualified to be first because it is found in this side of the Mongol. But come to think of it, what has happened to Victoria since finishing work in Kribi? Of course, nothing. All the money is then diverted to maintaining Kribi, and Victoria project can rot in hell, isn't it? UB will equally rot in hell once UB Akonolinga Annex materializes. That's a little secret. Once they have created the so-called University of Buea Akonolinga Annex, the University of Buea proper is going to become second fiddle. And what does that mean? It means that the University of Buea would then have to share meager resources with Akonolinga Annex. It means that funding grants meant for exclusive use for the University of Buea will be diverted in their entirety to Akonolinga. UB will be robbed of those finances, and nobody will ever tell you that grants meant for Buea are going to Akonolinga. Nobody will say it. Because the lackeys in Buea won't nurture the audacity to raise their voices in protest. Why? Because they have to keep their friends. They have to keep their appointments. They have to keep their connections plus the power they wear. The story will be told that the grants were meant for Akonolinga Annex and not for UB. UB Akonolinga Annex is essentially the way to suck funding from the University of Buea. And when you have sucked the funding, you have basically killed it, isn't it? University of Buea Akonolinga Annex is where our best lecturers and professors in Buea will be moved to. That is the hidden agenda here. It is a subtle way to kill Buea. In Cameroon, universities are created by mere decree from the almighty head of state. What stops the elite of Akonolinga, some of whom are the most powerful power players in that damn country, from setting up a purely Anglo-Saxon university in Akonolinga, if they so desperately need one, and then employing the work of experts or expatriates to develop it to standard? What stops them from doing that? Why does it have to be University of Buea Annex when Buea barely has the resources to manage the meager infrastructure it has now? Why? Buea cannot even boast of classrooms, ladies and gentlemen, at the recently created HTTC in Kumba. They don't have classrooms. But Buea will be sponsoring an annex in Akonolinga. Buea was created to meet the Anglo-Saxon educational needs of the southern Cameroonians. You would think that, if anything, that Buea should be thinking of setting up annex campuses in Ikondo Titi, Mundamba, in Mamfe, in Menji, in Kupe Manukuba, all these places, to bring the campuses nearer to the people. No. Their eyes are in Akonolinga. Their eyes are in a francophone system. Everything will be watered down there in Akonolinga. And they will begin to dictate or migrate whatever they have formulated there back to Buea to kill the system. We must resist this now, before UB that was fought and paid for with the blood of southern Cameroonians get drained under. We must fight it. Vice Chancellor Ngomo Horace and the entire Senate of the University of Buea that is about deliberating over this matter on Friday should remember our history. The history of Cass Bambili, the history of Victoria and Kribi seaports, the history of our National Marketing Board, the Cameroon Bank, and others. Nothing, and I mean nothing, goes to La République du Cameroon and returns the same. They should be reminded that it is Ikondo Titi, it is Minji, it is Bangam, it is Mamfe, it is Kumba, not Akonolinga that needs the annexed campuses. Fellow Ambazonians, this is one of the reasons for which we are at war with French Cameroon. Collectively, we must decide to take over our destiny. They are not going to give it to us, as we see. Let's all remain very, very observant as to which officials will sign the transfer of UB to Yaoundé in Akonolinga. Should UB set up campuses anywhere in French Cameroon, then those who facilitate it must be hastily And I mean hastily ejected out of Ambazonia as soon as that happens. It is our duty. Thank you. That was my monologue. Ladies and gentlemen, I am now joined by Barrister John Fru Iso and Dr. Martin Mungwa. Barrister John, let me start with you, sir. It's a pleasure to have you join the broadcast again. Tell me if I got anything wrong or anything I have not listed in this monologue, sir.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for inviting me once more. I think you have said it all. You have said it all. And I want to add that La Republique has seen the handwriting on the wall and they want to destroy yet another institution that Ambazonians fought with and paid with blood to establish. We all know how University of Buea came into being. It was first a school of translation and interpretation, and we fought so hard and lost Ambazonians in the process to have that university called University of Buea. They have seen that we are on our way and they want to destroy it before it comes too late. But let me tell you, without the participation of our elites who run that university, chaired by Madame Molinga Njoma, who is the chair or the pro-chancellor of that university, if anything happens to that university as we hear, we will hold Madame Njoma, Professor Manga, and all the prominent elites of the University of Buea responsible. Why Buea? Why not University of Douala going to Akonolinga? Why not create another University of Yaoundé in Akonolinga and call it English-speaking University of Yaoundé at Akonolinga? Why University of Buea? Because they want to destroy University of Buea before they leave. That's one more battle for us to fight. I don't know how we're going to do that, but we have to fight. There will be no University of Buea in Akonolinga, and if it is, we will change. We will look for every means to change University of Buea to University of Amazonia in Buea, and forget La Republique ever passed through Buea. This is very, 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 very annoying and provocative. Those people who will be sitting on that meeting on Friday, we will take note of them and take note of what they decide. They hold this thing in their hand. They should vote no. And if they vote yes, they are our enemies. And they'll be treated as such.
Thank you, Barrister John. Let me move over to Dr. Mungwe. Dr. Mungwe, please, if you can centralize yourself a little bit to your right, that will be awesome. All right, that is awesome. Thank you. Thank you for joining the broadcast, Dr. Mungwa. You are a structural engineer, I believe. But before I get to that specific question, I would like to get your take on what you think this so-called University of Buea Annex Akonolinga is all about, and what, other than what I have stated, do you see other motivations behind it?
Volume.
Oh, Dr. Amongwe, it appears your microphone is shut down. Dr. Amongwe, your microphone is shut down. It's not high enough. If you can log out quickly, use the same information, log back in, I think your mic should be fine. Just log back out and log in right away with the same information so that we can be able to hear you. Okay, Barrister John, let me get back to you while Dr. Mongwa tries to get back in. Again, this is This is, I mean, we just cannot understand what they are trying to do here. But do you see the people in the University of Buea saying, we don't think this is feasible, we don't think this is doable, and we don't think even if it were doable, this is not the right moment to do it?
I want to say this, Chris. If those people in Buea are listening to us and know the tempo of Ambazonians and know what is happening on the ground, they will be advised not to vote for that stupid agenda of creating a University of Buea in Akonolinga. Akonolinga of all the places. We look, Chris, like you said in your monologue, Kumba, a commercial and agricultural center, does not have University of Buea annex.
And yeah, right.
Manfe, which is a commercial town and also agricultural, does not have Kumba, University of Buea annex. I cannot talk about Menji, I cannot talk about Mondemba or Konotiti. I cannot talk about Nyasoso or even Tombel or Nguti. Why Ekonolinga?
Yeah.
I have said they have seen the handwriting on the wall and they want to destroy the University of Buea for us. It will not happen, but I will not. Look, I'm sending a warning to those people holding that meeting in Buea on Friday. If they listen to my voice and still vote to have a University of Buea in Akonolinga, they will pay for it and pay for it dearly. Because people who brought about University of Buea paid for it with blood. We will protect University of Buea with even if it has to take blood. Nonsense.
I see Dr. Mungwa is logged back in, but it appears the microphone is still very low. Dr. Mungwa, check the microphone. Check the microphone on your, I don't know whether you're using laptop or phone or whatever you are using to connect. I see the microphone is indicating that it is quite low, very, very low. And so if you talk, we can't hear you. We can't hear you when you talk. Check the microphone settings on your system. Barrister John, this is the point that I really want all Ambazonians out there to note. You create a University of Buea, Akonolinga Annex. The funds, the grants, and you know that most of these universities, they live on grants from international organizations, research grants, and so on. Creating a University of Buea, Akonolinga means that the grants that come to Buea are diverted to Akonolinga. Of course, yes. They won't tell anybody that. They will tell everybody that the grants coming in are directed for projects in Akonolinga, not in Buea. Buea will sit there. There will be no funds to execute their own programs. This is what we want every Ambazonian out there to understand. It is a slow but sure takeover of funds from the University of Buea so that by the end of the day, Ambazonians start running to Akonolinga instead of they running to come to Ambazonia to study. Am I wrong?
No, you are not. No, you are not. That is what is going to happen. Just like it happened in Kas Bambili, instead of the University of Bambili, that the Americans financed, they siphoned the money to create their University of Yaoundé. It's the same scenario, Chris. It's the same scenario. I hope those who fought for University of Buea, and I'm thinking about Azon Wara. Azon Wara lives in Buea. He's not yet dead. He should be listening to this, and the fight is on. He should join the fight because listen, Chris. University of Buea was born in blood.
Yeah.
And we will not sit around and find a few disgruntled elites that run that university. Take University of Buea to Akonolinga so that when grants come in from wherever they come in, they are diverted to Akonolinga, and then consequently drain our Ambazonian students to Akonolinga. Because they don't know, because right now they are working very hard because they are not sure when we will have our state, the state of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. That is why they are hurrying up to do this and siphon all the funds, all the grants that are coming to University of Buea and send it to Akonolinga, and University of Buea will remain like Cash Bambili today. That's what is going to happen.
That is what is going to happen.
Exactly. That's what is going to happen. Look at the University of Bamenda. It has been infested by francophones. How many Bamenda children or how many Ambazonian children are in University of Bamenda? Just like they have also invested they are also infested Buea. But Buea remains to us a monument that was born out of blood, and we will not allow it to happen. I hope Madame Gioma Limungan Gioma, who is the pro-chancellor of University of Buea, is listening to us. That meeting on Friday, if anything happens there, that University of Buea next is created in Akonolinga, we will not stand by to let that happen. And we would immediately, this interim government would immediately name University of Buea, University of Ambazonia in Buea. Because we cannot accept to have anything to do with Akonolinga. And when we do that,
you just made a point there, and I think we should take it now. I will not wait until the president announces it. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on from today, we no longer have University of Buea. We have University of Ambazonia Buea, University of Ambazonia Bamenda. That is what it is. That is what it is. That should be the name. Okay.
Correct.
But I really wish I had Dr. Mongwa to weigh in here and contribute. Dr. Mongwa, I believe you can hear me.
Oh no.
Hello?
Oh no. Check your system. Check the volume of your audio.
Barrister Mongwa, we cannot hear you.
Look at it from your laptop or whatever.
We cannot hear you. Your volume is your microphone is the problem. Your microphone is the problem. Again, check your microphone settings. Once it comes on, I will be able to know. Barrister John, I mentioned the case of Victoria. They talked about building Victoria Seaport, talked about it, promised it again and again. As I speak, it is still on paper. They have built one in Kribi, and we were told why they built Kribi. Once we are done in Kribi, we will take care of that of Victoria, because we need many seaports around the country. Now they are done with Kribi. What has happened to Victoria? Nothing. Nothing has happened to Victoria. Victoria remains a laughing stock. We mentioned the case of Cash Bambili. Cash Bambili was said to be a university. Ahijo got the money from the U.S. government. Instead of a university, he created a high school in Bambili, took the funds to Yaoundé, created the University of Yaoundé. And then, of course, you can imagine, every fund that came from the USA for that university, Anglo-Saxon University in Kasbambali, went to Yaoundé. This is the same scenario that we are seeing in the University of Ambazonia Buea, heading for Akonolinga.
Yes, Chris. Let me let you in on what happened in Victoria. An Ambazonian engineer was appointed to build a shipyard in Victoria. And he was doing such a marvelous job in Chantier Naval in Douala. His name is, what is his name? He's in prison.
Fonjindam?
Fonjindam. They found Fonjindam doing a marvelous job, and they concocted all kinds of charges against him and threw him in jail and killed that project. Because that project, if Fonjindam went through with that project, it would have highlighted Victoria, and the world would now begin to ask serious questions. What happened? Because that shipyard would have brought ships for repairs from all over the world, and you know what? The deep sea port would have been very active. La Republic, as wicked as they are, they threw Fonjindam in jail, closed that project, and lost all the financing that the World Bank was giving to Fonjindam to build that shipyard. And Fonjindam is in jail for no reason, for committing no crime, but because he was an incompetent engineer of Ambazonia extraction. And listen, Chris, Victoria will be rebuilt by Ambazonians, and we will have nothing to do with Douala. Mark my word, that Douala is a pool of sand. It's of no use to anybody. We will build. Look, what has happened has happened. We cannot begin to cry over spilled milk. We are going to build the biggest and deep sea port in West Africa, in Victoria.
And it will be a free, import-free, clearance-free seaport.
Correct.
In all of West Africa, maybe with the exception of Benin Republic. But that is what we're going to do.
Yes, that is my take. And look, Fonjindam is there in prison. He has finished a 10-year term, and they cannot remove him because Francophones are fighting. He's guilty. Some say he's not guilty. That's the Supreme Court. And he cannot have a clear judgment. He's sitting there in jail, suffering for a crime he did not commit. Because he's a competent Amazonian engineer.
Again, we really would love Ambazonians, especially on Ground Zero, and those who manage the University of Buea, to remember history here. Remember history, because these things, they have occurred again and again and again, and it is the reason in which we are at war today. What message, what would be your message, Barrister John, to the chancellor of that university? But before I get there, can you imagine? I called somebody today who is a member of UB Senate, and he wasn't aware. He wasn't aware about this case, the Konolinga thing, and he is supposed to be in meeting on Friday to decide over the fate of UB. But the lecturer said he wasn't aware about it. In fact, I had to read out the statement to him to listen. He said he wasn't aware, but they have to go in on Friday probably to vote as to what happens to the University of Buea, to take part of it to Akonolinga. What message would you give to everybody sitting in there in that UB Senate to decide or to vote on this matter, particularly the Chancellor, and of course, what is that lady's name? The Secondary Education Minister, Pauline Nalova, and those who vote for that decision. What message would you pass to them?
My message is this: every member of the Senate of University of Buea should vote against that decision, and we will be following it minute by minute, and to see who votes to approve a University of Buea at Akonolinga. And I am saying this because I know how the Republic works. The whole thing has been prepared. They will just hand it to Madame Gioma and Professor Manga, the university chancellor, the vice chancellor, and say, look, this is what we want. If you follow that decision, Buea was born out of blood, that decision will be visited with blood. But I'm not yet there. I am advising to the Senate, the total Senate, which is made up of responsible university professors of our lone University of Buea, and student representatives and others. Please don't allow this to happen to us once again. Please, we'll be watching, we'll be listening to you on Friday. The world has become a global village, and we know what happens in any part of the world at any minute. And we'll be listening to you. We will watch those deliberations. We'll watch how you vote and who votes what. Please, vote not to send our only intellectual institution to Akonolinga. Please, because you will lose all the funds that were supposed to be coming to Buea. They'll be sending them to Akonolinga.
Yes. Well, thank you, Barrister John. Thank you. Dr. Amongwa is still not able to connect with his microphone turned on. I will suggest, Dr. Amongwa, again, if you can hear me, if you can change your gadget, maybe use your phone, that may work. Just use the same connection details to use a different gadget. It could be your phone or a tablet or different laptop. That may work. I really love you to join in this conversation. Barrister John, I'd like you to take a look here at something that is happening in Afghanistan. Of course, we are all glued on our television set, watching what is going on in Afghanistan. Ladies and gentlemen, again, the images you see are coming from Afghanistan. And the people that are scrambling to run, to escape with their lives. Scrambling to escape with their lives. Now, let me, before I bring in Barrister John, let me say this. Ladies and gentlemen, 20 years ago, the U.S. with our allies invaded Afghanistan to root out a terrorist movement called the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. 20 years after spending $88 billion to equip and to build the Afghan army, and after spending $2.4 trillion in totality to rebuild Afghanistan, losing 2,300 and counting American soldiers, losing over 50,000 Afghans, including the Taliban. America cut back and pulled out of Afghanistan, and the Taliban literally walk in with no resistance. Now, we have heard in the course of the Ambazonian struggle, people say, you cannot beat the people, any people in their own territory. You cannot beat any people in their own territory. We have heard this again and again and again from U.S. officials, from people that matter in the international community. They have told us again and again, and La Republic of Cameroon in particular, you cannot beat any people, ladies and gentlemen, in their own backyard. And we saw it in Afghanistan. The Taliban, they've beaten the British, they've beaten the Russians, now they've beaten the Americans. Now, I am not the least excited about what has happened in Afghanistan, because I don't think America spent $2.4 trillion to cut and run. Plus the souls, American soldiers who put their lives on the line. And America suddenly pulled out. It is horrible to think about it. Horrible to think about it. But I think there are some lessons here that Ambazonians and La Republic of Cameroon in particular should learn. They should learn, I guess, that you will not beat Ambazonia in Ambazonia. That is not going to happen. You will not beat Ambazonia in Ambazonia. Barrister John, I don't know if there is any other message other than this, because I think what is happening in Afghanistan, if La Republique du Cameroon has ears to hear, I think this message coming out of Afghanistan should resonate in their minds. So, Barrister John, let me get back to you. Dr. Amungwa is trying to log back in. I still don't see the audio. It's still not good. The audio, the microphone is still not good. You may want, again, Dr. Amungwa, to check your sound settings and look particularly for the microphone settings on your system. But, Barrister John, let me get back to you about this. Again, the message that we are getting from Afghanistan, let me say it bluntly, La Republicans, the enablers that we have in Ambazonia, who are fighting on the side of La Republique du Cameroon, one of these days, you are going to be rushing out, scrambling out of Ambazonia as these people trying to scramble out of Afghanistan. Your day is coming. Your time is coming. And you will be scrambling out of Ambazonia as these people scrambling out of Afghanistan. But Mr. John, tell me if I'm wrong.
No, Chris, you are exactly correct. But let me say this: Americans are not fools. They did this in Vietnam. Vietnam now is a very well organized country, and you have diplomatic ties with America. They have done it 20 years in Afghanistan. And it has ended the same way, like in Saigon. But Chris, let me tell you, you are exactly correct. You cannot beat a determined people in their territory. People who are seeking for self-determination, you cannot beat them in their territory. This is a big lesson for La Republique du Cameroon. And not only La Republique du Cameroon, the enablers of Ambazonia. One day you'll be running like this. You'll be running like this when La Republique soldiers will be leaving. You have no protection. You have no way to go to. You run like this because your hands are dirty. Look, Chris, Americans went to Afghanistan knowing that it's a Muslim country. They knew what was going to happen. They stayed for 20 years trying to build a democracy. After the main objective that they went for had succeeded. They went there to make sure that no terrorist organization, no terrorism built in Afghanistan would ever attack homeland America. They achieved that goal. And America, like President Biden said, we are not in the business of fighting a civil war for people who don't want to fight. We gave you all, we spent 20 years, we built an army of 300 people strong, we armed you, we developed your country, and yet you are unable to hold on to it. The Taliban were coming, and you decided to flee. The political leaders ran away, and the army melted. That is not America's fault. Each time that you are leaving a war-torn area, you should expect chaos like this. No matter how America would have left, or when they would have left, you would have had the same chaos like they had in Saigon. They have developed Afghanistan. They have invested in Afghanistan. And I want to do a prediction here. The Talibans of today will no longer be the Talibans of 20 years ago. They will respect, I hope, human rights, especially the girl child, and allow all humans to develop equally, both male and female. If they don't do that, they would have shot themselves in the foot. Go to Saudi Arabia, where America has very close ties. Saudi Arabia is a Muslim country, and they use Sharia law. Now, America is very close to Saudi Arabia. They allow their women to develop academically and professionally, but they were still treated like women, and they could not do certain things. That is the beginning of Saudi Arabia in Afghanistan. And if the Taliban don't get the handwriting, they will fight a civil war for the rest of their life. Having said that, Chris, let's come to Ambazonia. Ambazonian enablers, because one of these days, La Republic will be packing out of our territory the same way America packed out of Afghanistan, and the enablers will be running, not know where to go, whether to follow them to Yaoundé, and La Republic will be pushing them away, like you saw happening at the airport in Afghanistan. Look, the handwriting is on the wall. I am calling on La République du Cameroon to leave now, and I'm calling on all enablers to start going by foot or by whatever means to where they think they want to settle, because this whole scenario may also happen in Ambazonia.
Well, it is going to happen, Barrister John. It is going to happen, and it's a matter of when that is going to happen. I think we finally got Dr. Mungwa connected with a microphone. If he can just spin his camera, please spin your camera to the landscape. Spin your camera to appear landscape. That would be good. I'm watching. So, Barrister John, again, you look at these images. It is a matter of when. It is a matter of when. We are using these images to warn those La République du Cameroon enablers in Ambazonia that one of these days, unfortunately, you will not even see the planes to want to scramble or run into. No cars will be there to pick you. This day is coming. This day is coming in Ambazonia. And it won't be good. It won't be good. If you live in Yaoundé, you better return home as an Ambazonian. If you live in Ambazonia and you are an enabler, these are people who aided, assisted the American government. Not that the American government did anything wrong. I just hate the way they cut out of there. That's all. But yes, it was a right cause they were engaged in. These are the people who were supporting America. Unfortunately, they are left wondering what to do, where to go. And in Ambazonia, we have people like this who are French Cameroon citizens who one of these days will be running helter-skelter, like in this case, in this situation, wondering what to do. So I saw that Facebook had just shut us down with our figures from 1,000 to 88 people. Hey, that is quite interesting. Yes. 1,000 to 88 people. But that is fine. Ground zero is on. Barrister John, again, what should be the message? Let's forget about the Taliban. Forget about Al-Qaeda. Forget about the USA. What is the message in this to enable us on ground zero and La République du Cameroon?
The message is that all enablers, including Francophones and those people who came to take refuge in Ambazonia,